My synopsis is this. Beterbiev is a great puncher, but he's been down a few times. What does that tell me? A lot of people say it was balance. People say it was this. People say it was that. In my humble opinion, if you've been down 2 or 3 times already, being the puncher that you are, it means either when you're punching, you leave yourself in a bad position and people are catching you, or you don't take as good a punch as you throw. Both would be a mistake fighting Bivol because he stays fundamentally sound with his feet and he stays fundamentally sound with his hands. He's a very disciplined fighter. He's always going to be in shape and he's always going to be Dmitry Bivol. So if you do anything out of the ordinary, such as throw too hard to get yourself off balance, or don't take a punch as well as you throw a punch, you're going to lose to Bivol. If you can go out there and smash Bivol early or give him to an exchange early and knock him out, that's not out of the picture because we're talking about a guy with a 100% knockout ratio. You understand me? So anything can happen. Me, however, I feel like in 10-ounce gloves, nobody wants to truly be hit by a decent puncher, right? Bivol punched hard enough to keep Canelo in check, right? Canelo's been one of the pound best for a long time now, right? So what make me think that Bivol does not punch hard enough to either catch Arthur when he's either off balance or just catch him, period, and hurt him as well. So in a sense, it's a you pick 'em, but it's who hits who first. Who can withstand whose punch? If Bivol can take Arthur's punch, Arthur gonna have problems. If Arthur can take Bivol's punch, Bivol had to work for a long time. But if Bivol can't take Arthur's punch, that 100% knockout ratio gonna stay. Me personally, I think Bivol's feet are gonna be the key. I think his feet are gonna keep him out of the wrong exchanges with Arthur. And I think his feet are also gonna be what make Arthur pay when Arthur misses with big shots.
Because I know you're like a boxing historian, Roy. Like historically, does it usually go the side of the guy that has the quicker feet, the better feet, the quicker hands when they go against a power puncher like that?
Sugar Ray Leonard, Tamara
It was close. It was close. That
Sugar Ray
first
Leonard,
one,
Tamara
but
Harris.
he
Sugar Ray
ended up
Leonard,
winning.
Tamara.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You
Okay.
think it's very, very similar style wise to that?
Not like that. It's different
Yeah.
because these guys from the Eastern Bloc are different than what we are on this side of the world. So style wise, it's a little bit different because they both are very good technicians. They both understand and know the game backwards and forward. They both are very good at what they do. So it's a little bit different. These guys are not as swaggy as Sugar Ray Leonard and Tamara Hearns were, but they're a lot more disciplined in their skill than Sugar Ray Leonard and Tamara Hearns were. So it's a different type of a chess match.
I wonder if Bivol's going to find himself in a "you're blowing it, son" moment.
You won't find yourself in that moment because
Yeah, I
if
don't
you're
think so.
blowing it, if you're blowing it, it's gonna be blowed already with Arthur. You don't get a chance to be blowing it. And once he hit your head, you sleep. So if you blowing it, it's gonna be blowed by the time they get to tell you that.
Yeah, very true. It's not going to
Arthur
take a
can,
lot of
hey,
punches from him.
Arthur can punch. You understand me? If they gotta tell you you blowing it with Arthur, you probably already blew it because he hits too hard for that.
It's a very unique style. I would have to give Dmitry Bivol the advantage here a little bit because he has better footwork, you know. Beterbiev kind of like just stalks you down, you know, and with Bivol, he's just like constantly bam, 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 you know. I love that. He's a good boxer, man, with power. So and he's got skill up here. It's a tough fight to call. It's a tough fight to call, but I'm gonna have to give Dmitry the advantage. I think it's all about respect in the first few rounds. You know, how he's gonna take his punch if he has a chin. I mean, I think Beterbiev has a better chin than Dmitry Bivol. For some reason, I just feel that. I don't know if it's true, but if Dmitry Bivol can catch him, offset him, get him off balance with his footwork, I mean, yeah, it could be a long night for Beterbiev.
How do you assess the fight between Beterbiev and Bivol?
Как ты видишь бой между Бетербиевым и Биволом? Это очень интересный бой. Всех боксеров, я думаю, и у нас тоже. Это 50 на 50. Ну, я болею за Бивол, потому что у меня одна команда, и он тоже помогал мне. Я много чего учил вот от Бивола. И сейчас всем интересно, мне тоже интересно. Сейчас ждем октябрь, да? Октябрь, да.
It's a very interesting fight, especially for us. For me, he's part of our team. You know, he's a friend, and I think it's a 50-50 fight. But of course, I believe that Bivol has the edge, and I will be rooting for him because, you know, he's great. He's a champion. He's a great person, a true champion, and I believe he's got the skills to persevere. You know, I learned a lot from him as well. I've taken some things from him, from training together, and he's given me some things that I'm very appreciative of him.
Has he had a chance to give you advice for this fight, Israel?
Он давал тебе какие-то рекомендации, Дмитрий Бивол, к этому бою?
Ну да, обязательно они связали по телефону, и они уже у него есть большой опыт, он прошел много чего с Канелом, вот победил, и мне тоже свои советы дал. Я тоже принял вот это советы, потому что он сейчас, как скажем, очень хороший, умный боксер, как скажем.
Yes, of course. We talked on the phone already, you know, not too long ago, and he gave me some pointers. He gave me some advice. You know, he was in a similar position against Canelo, and he won that fight. He already has that experience, and he shared some stuff with me that I think is very important. You know, and we will probably be in touch again before the fight. You know, that definitely gives me more confidence.
I like Beterbiev's style of just that, bring the heat, walk forward, just a monster, just deadly. But Bivol's, I think he's got more tools in his arsenal, so I'm leaning towards Bivol.
Okay.
But I want Beterbiev to win.
Your heart's with Beterbiev, but your mind's with Bivol.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Bivol will win that fight. I think so. I don't know, right? But I like Bivol, the movement, footwork, and everything. But I think he can win the fight for a decision.
With Beterbiev, what do you think he needs to do to win this fight?
Throw a lot of punches, and I don't know what kind of plan he has for that fight, but he to going forward. I think like he always do, and try to knock him out.
In the fight against Bivol, what is the advice you would give someone like Beterbiev? How do you beat Dmitry Bivol?
I mean, Bivol is a really good movement, and I think cut the ring and throw a lot of punches. That's the bite.
With someone like Beterbiev, who has all the power, did you think Bivol took power shots pretty well?
Well, I don't know, right? Because I don't know how hard he hit, but he needs to move. He don't need to stop any moment. And, I think Bivol he knows the style, kind of like Russian style, and he knows how to fight him, and he's confident to win the fight.
You felt Bivol's power. Does he have big power?
Well, he has power, yeah.
Did you think you hurt him at any point of the fight?
But I don't. Who knows, right? This is boxing. Boxing, you can knock him out in the first round, the second round, the last round, and I think they're really prepared for the fight, and I don't think they want to give any chance to one each other.
With Bivol specifically, do you think he also has the opportunity for a knockout here, or it's going to be a 12-round decision?
No, I think he will win made a bad decision. Yeah, that's my thought.
You personally, we saw Billum Smith. He was rooting for you to beat Gulamarian. Are you rooting for anyone in this fight? Would a rematch be more important to you, or beating Beterbiev?
Well, for me, I focus on November 16th to win another title. But I'm cheering for Bivol.
Do not. Just tuned in as a fan, excited to see it. This is a huge fight. Two great fighters and great boxers, you know. And like I've said in other interviews, you know, I feel like what they're known for isn't all they're good for. You know, like Beterbiev is known as the puncher, but he's not just a puncher, you know. His balance, you know, his ring IQ. You know, I said in the other two interviews, but, you know, he'll lure guys to the ropes and turn them, put them on the ropes, and he can put his hands together quick. You know, Bivol is not just a stick and move boxer. You know, he's physically strong. He can hit hard. So Beterbiev has been dropped by lesser guys. So you can't tell me there's no way Bivol can't drop him. So we'll see.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
History.
So,
Undisputed.
Undisputed, yeah.
Whatever.
Well, okay. Bivol Beterbiev is interesting.
Neither of them speak English.
No, but it's for undisputed, the point where it's for undisputed, right?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you want to see how he'll react to it.
They do these undisputed belts every other month.
But it's like the number one versus the number two.
Yeah, they do this shit every time. But does anyone even watch that weight class?
75. Well, now they do because of them.
Does anyone ever watch that weight class?
Historically, no.
No. Oh,
historically, no.
Okay, so
but it's been different. They've kind of reinvigorated it.
Bro, I can't even tell you who Beterbiev's last opponent is. I can't even tell you who Bivol's last opponent was. I know who one of Bivol's opponent was.
What?
Oh, that was Canelo. Oh,
Yeah.
guess who's fighting? Oh, guess whose fight's coming? Oh, Canelo. Yeah, that's the fight I give right now.
Well, Shakur's on that card too.
Who?
Shakur.
Oh, the most boring fighter in boxing history, fighting a fucking no name.
Is he that boring to you?
Bro, Shakur falls asleep doing his own film study.
No. Some people would say like Rolly, he's highly skilled. Boxing's hit and don't get hit.
Who was Beterbiev's last opponent?
Beterbiev was Mundo Smith, Callum Smith, in Quebec. The guy that fought against Canelo.
Callum Smith?
Yeah, Callum Smith.
Yeah, I hardly remember that fight with Canelo. I know he fought him, but
Yeah, this is one where he hit him in the arm.
What about Bivol's last fight?
Bivol was that that guy was funny. He fought some guy. I'll just say that. Some guy the last fight.
Okay, so yeah, there's nothing interesting coming up in boxing right now.
I think it's going to be a great fight for both men. They both have to be extremely ready. This is a hard fight for both of them. I'm kind of leaning again with Bivol. Bivol is a great boxer and he has punching power. And then Beterbiev, I think he's a little bit older. You know, I think his body's breaking down a little bit. He works really hard. I don't take nothing away from him, but he does a lot of weights. And in boxing, when you do too much weights like that, that's when you start to break down more. So I'm leaning a little bit more towards Bivol.
David, your dad said that we want to beat the one that beat the one, and Bivol could possibly be a future potential fight for you. Would that be something maybe by the end of this year, maybe early next year against Bivol, given what happens with the Beterbiev fight?
If everything goes right, I think so. You know, we're taking it one fight at a time, brother. You know what I mean? We're gonna look great this fight, win this fight, and then if we can fight that fight after in November, October, whenever, then I'm ready for that.
You know, Gvozdyk, he admits that you dominated the sparring sessions with him. What do you think of that? Like, a fighter admitting that before the
I just
fight?
think he's a really nice guy, you know what I mean? There's just some people are dickheads and some people are nice guys, and he's just a nice guy. I don't take that as fear. I know he knows what's on the table and what I bring to the table. I know he's prepared extremely well because no fighter's going in there to lose. You know what I mean? And he knows this is the toughest task for him. I know this is the toughest task for me right now, too. So I didn't leave any stone unturned. I worked extremely hard and made the best man win this Saturday.
Do you believe you stopped him in fewer rounds than Beterbiev did?
I believe so. Yeah, 100%.
Who's going to be between Beterbiev and Bivol?
I think they're two different fighters. So one is a more boxer and the other one's more of a power puncher. But once they fight, we won't know until they fight.
What style do you like?
To be honest, I like Beterbiev style more, but I don't know. They're both really good, brother.
It's a terrific fight, you know, and the only reason it was able to happen was because the Saudis financed it. But it's a tremendous fight. See, that's an example of a fight in normal times that you couldn't do because the fighters would want a lot of money for that fight, and they're entitled to it. But how is the promoter to get back the money that he promises? Impossible. I mean, and certainly as big a fight as it is, it's not a big pay-per-view fight. You know, you have a Chechenian guy who lives in Canada and a Russian, you know. So for a real dyed-in-the-wool boxing fan, it's a tremendous attraction. But for the public at large, it's an interesting fight, period.
Beterbiev's been on a streak like no other, all knockouts in his fights recently against Callum Smith, knocking him out. Do you see this as the most difficult fight in Artur Beterbiev's career, given a guy like Dmitry Bivol who has a signature win over Canelo Alvarez?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Bivol's a really good fighter. But, you know, Beterbiev's been in with really good fighters, and he's managed to knock everybody out. Well, the people, I'm delighted that the public will be able to see this fight without anteing up any money. They'll be able to see it as if the fight were taking place in Montreal or Quebec or Las Vegas on ESPN. And I think that's really good for the sport. And I told His Excellency how much I appreciated it.
Yeah, it's not very often you get an undisputed fight for free on free TV. Bivol versus Beterbiev, that's happening the 12th of October. Canelo, after the Berlanga fight, said, hey, I want a rematch with Bivol. If Bivol beats Beterbiev, let's make that happen. Eddie, I know you being a promoter, you have to look to the future. I know this is a huge challenge. This is seen as a 50-50 fight, but can we see the rematch finally between Bivol and Canelo if he does beat Beterbiev?
Well, I think that Canelo is a fighter. He definitely wants to rematch Bivol, but Eddie Reynoso will make the decisions. And Eddie knows boxing, and he knows that Canelo was well beat that night. I don't think he was at his best, but he was well beaten. So it's a very, very tough fight. Now, if Bivol wins next week and becomes undisputed at 175, then you're talking about Canelo rolling the dice to win the undisputed 175-pound championship in the rematch. That becomes a huge fight. Now, if Bivol wasn't to win, Bivol could actually come down to 168 and fight Canelo there. So I think there's options all round, but I do think the lure of the undisputed championship at 175, maybe that's enough for you know, Eddie Reynoso to say, let's roll the dice. But let's get the win next week first. It's a very tough fight. For me, it's the best fight in boxing. I really believe that. And I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. For you, Eddie, what makes a difference? Why is Beterbiev going to beat, why is Bivol going to beat Beterbiev in your opinion?
I mean, look, it is a 50-50 fight. I think there's no doubt about that. For me, to beat Beterbiev, you have to do so many things right, but you have to, your footwork has to be incredible. Your output has to be great. You need to punch hard enough to get the respect, but you've got to be so clever with it. You know, because it's, if you don't stop Beterbiev, he's going to keep coming. And yeah, you might be able to keep him off for 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, but he's coming. Bivol is the kind of guy who is intelligent enough to do that for 12 rounds. Still very dangerous, but there's not many that can, but he can. You know, I mean, when you look at what he did against Canelo, I know it's 7 pound lighter, but you are talking about one of the greatest fighters of all time. And he won that fight quite comfortably, if we're honest. But Beterbiev's a monster. And it's just a thrilling 50-50 fight.
Have you played the fight out in your mind, Eddie? Like, do you have a feeling how it's going to go?
Yeah, pretty much like I said it, really. It's just a case of, can you keep him off? You know, I mean, you've got to try and hurt him a little bit. You've got to get his respect. But can you keep him off? The first 6 rounds are going to be very important in that fight.
Yeah, if Bivol can take the power of Beterbiev, yeah, it's going to be interesting. If he chooses to exchange with them and gets caught and he's like, oh, okay, you know, that changes the dynamic of the fight. But
I'm edging it towards Bivol, only slightly. I think maybe his style will just control the fight and not allow Beterbiev to get off them big shots that he does land, but ultimately it's still a very close fight.
For the Bivol versus Beterbiev fight, I feel like it's very similar to my fight. It's that typical brawler versus boxer. So my heart is with Bivol for this one. I've got to back the boxer as the fellow boxer. I think if Bivol does what he does best, controls the distance, keeps his shape, and can keep Beterbiev at bay, I think Bivol wins quite comfortably. But if anyone can unravel Bivol, it's Beterbiev. So I think it's going to make for a great fight.
I think if it goes to the scorecards, Bivol wins. But you know, Beterbiev is such a dangerous fighter. So as long as he doesn't get clipped and gets in trouble, then I think Bivol
What do you think Bivol's strategy should be in that?
Well, man, any you know, it's not rocket science. You know, if anyone any type of clue of boxing, you know, Bivol's got to move and do what he does best, cut angles, keep him at his range. And then Beterbiev has got to do the complete opposite and walk him down and try and clip him. So, you know, I feel like it's a great fight.
How do you advise Beterbiev if you were to coach him?
Same stuff, you know, he's got to apply smart pressure and find that punch. He always does. You know, he's got a 100% knockout ratio. So, you know, he knows what he's doing. He knows his way around the ring. He knows how to cut people off and find that punch. So, it's a very exciting fight.
Is it possible we see you as fighting the winner of that fight?
I don't know. It's up to Turkey El Sheikh, His Excellency. You know, he pulls all the strings, and you know, whoever he wants me to fight, I'll fight. But you know, I'm focused on the 12th. You know, we've got a hard fight ahead of us, so we've got to get that done, and then we move forward.
First of all, it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be an explosive fight. I think it's going to be one of the best fights that's been on for, you know, a good while. I'm really looking forward to watching it myself. I keep going either way, but I think Bivol's going to nick it. I think Bivol's going to nick it on points. So that's my prediction for the fight.
It should be a pretty good fight. Obviously, Bivol, we know, takes a bit of more of a cautious approach. Tends to box around his opponents and stuff, but I say Beterbiev is relentless and very tough. They're both really tough guys. The interesting thing, obviously, we know Beterbiev have been injured, how that will affect him in this fight, how well he's recovered. When the fight was first announced, I was much more leaning towards Beterbiev. After the injury, how he's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot closer now, but I still lean towards Beterbiev just for that, a little bit like me, that relentlessness, that toughness. He's really good boxer as well as good fighter, so I think that could be the difference.
I've been a changing person over this result for a while. Even years ago, before this fight was even made, I had my opinion on it, and it changes and chops and changes, but it's a very good fight. You know, I listened to Roy Jones give some real good reasons yesterday as to why he thinks Bivol will win, and I agreed with a lot of it. And then I seen a graphic of Beterbiev's record. So you're asking me a really difficult question. but I'm going to go where I've been the majority of the time. I had a bit of a change. I'm going to stick with Artur Beterbiev, and my reasons why is because I think Bivol is a fantastic fighter. You know, I rate his skills, his heart, and his pedigree so much. I just think when you're as destructive as that, eventually, I feel like he's going to catch up to Bivol, you know. So I think it's going to be a Beterbiev win. I could be wrong, could be a million miles away, but like I say, you know, thank you to both of the guys for putting on this show, because you know they're real kings of boxing.